All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Podcast Recovery. We're your hosts, David O.
And Eric V.
Today we are joined by our special guest, Emily P. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking.
Good. Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing well?
You're doing well?
I'm doing well.
Actually, I lied. It's been a really hard day, so I'm hoping this will cheer me up.
That's a better answer.
Yeah.
See, that's
honesty.
honest.
There
Step
we go.
one,
right there.
There we go. We're moving forward.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore County, Maryland.
Where in Baltimore County?
Reisterstown.
Reisterstown. All right.
Glory area.
Gray area. It is. Reisterstown's weird. Sorry for our Reisterstown listeners. When were you first introduced to recovery?
I'd say in high school sometime.
In high school?
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
Let's see. You're trying to age me here.
It's like 13
Say
years
it was
ago.
like 2006. So what year is it now?
That's 12,
Maybe 12 years ago. Yeah.
Goodness gracious world. We're getting old. Mm-hmm. And how long have you currently been clean?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Congratulations.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, without further ado, I'll turn it over to you to share your experience, strength, and hope in your story.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not one of those people that was born into a dysfunctional home and had a ton of trauma or really just anything negative happening to me. Mm-hmm. I believe people have internal pain and external pain, and I was just always had this internal pain. Mm-hmm. I always wanted something outside myself. So if my friends were Jewish, I wanted to be Jewish. If my friends' parents were divorced, I wanted my parents to be divorced. If there was some necklace that, my friends were getting for their bat mitzvahs or something, mm-hmm. I thought that if I had this Tiffany necklace at the age of 12, that I would be happy. Mm-hmm. And my mom was like, no, you're not doing that.
You're not getting a fucking Tiffany
right.
necklace.
But I would get these things eventually, and mm-hmm. Get things outside of myself eventually, the relationship, the validation, the clothes, the whatever, and I still never felt whole. Mm-hmm. And I always just felt empty. And when I discovered drugs and alcohol at a pretty young age, I felt like I had arrived. Like I finally found something outside of myself that worked. Mm-hmm. It filled me. I was no longer afraid or discluded from those around me. And in fact, I became a leader in my own mind. I knew where the best drugs were at. I knew where the best parties were. I was hanging out with all the older kids. I got boobs and a butt, and I was
off to the races.
Yeah. Oh, I was good. And
I ask everybody this: what was your first drink?
Probably like Natural Light or something. Yeah, something.
That's a common one.
It's a good answer.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Is it?
It is. I think it's
like
solid.
piss water.
It's better than my answer.
And I did not enjoy it, Oh my gosh, I'm lying. No, I know what it was. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was very young, so wine. So my family is very like European, and they, they're not like, you have to be 21 to drink. They're very like free loving, and they smoke pot and drink, and they also go to work on Monday morning.
Yes.
And they know when to stop, and they know how to have a good time also. So definitely wine as a kid, and my first time getting drunk was with Orangina and champagne, and I drank like 2 big glasses in 5th grade, and I was wasted.
Is that like a ghetto mimosa?
Basically.
Okay.
Actually, Orangina is not cheap.
I think it's a better.
Yeah.
Is it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Orangina
is great.
I'm not a huge mimosa guy. I'm just saying.
Are you an Orangina fan, though?
I haven't had them a lot. That's what I'm saying.
But Orangina, just the shape of the bottle alone, just very sexy.
Okay. Secret time. I don't know what Orangina is. I don't even.
Why are you here?
What is that?
So we're gonna have to rewind and just.
Okay.
We're gonna take care of that tonight after this. Okay.
Sweet. Is it alcoholic or no?
No.
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 What is it?
It's like a.
It's like a fizzy orange drink.
Yeah.
In a pear-shaped bottle. It has a big butt on it and a tiny upper torso.
You don't know about this?
No. I don't know. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I think it's like a 90s thing.
Well,
I guess.
Okay, but we sold them at like record and tape traders. They were like in the drink thing.
Cool.
Like, it was there.
Also.
Yeah.
I'm a 90s kid. I was raised on like Sunny D.
You've been to Trader Joe's, right?
Yes.
They're at every Trader Joe's.
Are you just saying that?
Yes. No, I've been to Trader Joe's. That's where I get my fondue cheese.
Oh, good for you.
Okay,
So you are bougie after all.
Let's move on. After you mentioned fondue cheese.
Okay.
So let's see. You know, in high school, I was the party girl, but I was very charismatic and intelligent, and I was interested in the subjects I was interested in. So I had a lot of my teachers and like classmates on my side, and I was really good at sports. I was huge into sports, field hockey and lacrosse, and I rode horses, and I actually did 4-H, like raised pigs and cows and all that farm stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
So I was kind of in a lot of healthy things. So my using and partying was very secret, but not like all my teachers, they liked me and they knew what I was up to, but they kind of just like were like, oh, well, whatever. She's still, you know, she's still awesome in my mind.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah.
They were probably just like, well, we're just going to leave her alone.
Were your grades good?
They were spotty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the subjects I liked, art, psychology, science, I did well in. Math. No.
Yeah, fuck math.
So, let's see. I graduated school by the skin of my teeth, and high school, I mean, and I went to Salisbury University, and I was an art major, and I remember like promising myself that I was gonna like not do drugs. And like, so I did like an 8-ball the night before school started. Like, this is my last run, you know?
Okay.
And my first friend at college, like my first, like, you know, you don't know anyone. And,
No.
This guy sat next to me. He's like super flamboyant, you know, super gay, and sits next to me and he's like, hey, like, so do you do drugs? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what have you done? And I was like, I'll tell you what I haven't done. Like, the list is...
Yeah, that's probably shorter.
Exactly. And he was like, oh my God, we're going to be best friends. And we were. And we became best friends. And, you know, I kind of held his hand through a lot of things, and, you know, sold drugs all through college and maintained my art classes, but nothing else really. And I was always so against heroin, like so against it, but like I would do oxys. And the oxys got really expensive. And so then I started doing a lot of coke, and like I had always done coke, like always, but I started coming down so hard that I went home to Baltimore to hang out with my friends, and they were all obviously from Baltimore and addicted to heroin, had been since we were in high school. And I was really fucked up one night, and I was just like, I want to know what this is all about. And yeah, from there, I mean, it was probably a line the size of my pinky nail, and I never, you know, looked back. I remember like the next night, like really, really getting on. And the next night I thought to myself, I was in the back of a car, like squished, like just had come from the pawn shop with like all these people that had been doing this, you know. And I remember looking out the window, it was raining, and I thought to myself, I'm going to be a junkie. Like, if this is what it feels like, I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
Like, basically trading all of those jobs, mother. I'm not a mother, but daughter, sister, friend, you know, student, artist, all these things that I had taken so much pride in, or maybe I hadn't really, but like was at least pretending to participate in. I was willing to just have one job, which was just feel that as much as possible. And so fast forward a little bit, I was in my junior year of college and I overdosed, and my same gay friend, you know, that was right up there with me, partied hard as hell with me. He had known that I had been shooting up, and they had pulled me up on it a few times because they weren't okay with needles and stuff. And him and a couple of my other friends found me at my house, and I was into a bunch of stuff. Like, it was just really messy. And they ended up calling my family. My family came down and were basically like, we're not going to pay for school anymore, so do you want to do something else? So I had no other choice. I turned 21 in my first detox treatment center, and I was on a lot of maintenance meds, and I thought I would never use again. I was like, this is great. Recovery's fine. Like, I don't know what I was so scared of, because they were pumping me with that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, this is great. I'm going to be back here in a year to speak, and I'm going to,
Yeah.
And so then they recommended that I go to, like, further treatment down in Florida. And taper off of those meds. And I was down there with a bunch of, in a really fancy, like, really nice, it was like Club Med, co-ed, you could smoke cigs when you wanted, like you could go to group if you didn't want, like, you could pick and choose what you did. They had like acupuncture, massages, like it was way too bougie for like what I deserved. You know, I needed a kick in the ass, and it was just like,
it's probably more than what most people deserve.
It was, exactly. It was fun. And I was in there with a bunch of, not Eric, you can get a massage. And acupuncture.
I'm all about that bougie
pain management track for sure. So I was in there with all these rich like kids that basically did this all the time to spin dry. Their parents were rich. They sent them to rehab. They got out, used, and did it all over again. And so as soon as I tapered off, I was like, yeah, this is not going to be the way I'm going to live. So from there, I hopped, skipped, and jumped through a lot of treatment centers and halfway houses and three-quarter way houses, and like pretended to be in meetings and would go use in the meetings and all kinds of stuff. Eventually my parents got smart enough to realize that they couldn't pay for me to be sober. They couldn't buy a nice enough, halfway house or buy me enough quote unquote groceries, or, they were powerless over me, and they went to a program that sort of helped them understand that they needed to let go. And they did. And when they did that, I used, the thing that a lot of women unfortunately do use, which is not their big old sexy brain. It was my body and the naivete of desperate men. And I drained a lot of bank accounts, and I chased the money and the drugs. And I went from quote unquote relationship / dynamic / leech environment to the next. When one would get sick of me, I would go to the next. And when one had more money than the last, I'd go to that one. And have all kinds of things on the side. And I put myself through all that trauma that I guess was seeking, because I didn't have it as a kid. So I definitely got it as an adult. And, I'm a low bottom dope fiend. And what I mean by that is, the consequences being soft never changed my course of action. While I was out there, I was homeless by choice. I couldn't bear to spend $1 on anything other than that feeling. And a good day was washing my hair in the ocean and shaving my legs at the place where they like clean fish at the inlet, like in Boynton Beach.
That sounds horrible.
And but I was high, so I didn't care. And man, I was like 90 pounds soaking wet. I had pick marks all over my face. Couldn't get me out of a bathroom. Like, I was in a lot of abusive relationships, and I don't mean like I was some battered woman curling up in the corner. I was also extremely violent and abusive, especially if I didn't get my way. I was raped by 5 men in one night. And after that, the thought never occurred to me like, hey, this is probably because like you keep on putting yourself in dangerous situations to get one more. This is probably what needs to change. And it was just like an obstacle. It was like, okay, that's over with. Next one, put myself in the same situation, do it all over again. I would pick up receipts off the ground to try to steal stuff off of the receipts and go return it for cash. I'd smoke cigarette butts off the ground, panhandle, jump in, cars with strangers. And I wanted to die, I had missed my sister's wedding. I was supposed to be her maid of honor. I missed my brother's wedding. I missed the birth of both of their first daughters. I missed my grandfather's funeral. Like, I was just so out there. my hair, I mean, I wouldn't shower, wouldn't brush my teeth. Like, my hair was matted, like just completely matted. I had to cut it short at one point. I got Hep C along the way sometime. And, but I remember this one relationship I was in, or if you want to call it that, it was extremely toxic. Like, I couldn't have a phone or like be on YouTube even or anything. And, but he had money and he was my plug. And so I would, when he would finally like fall asleep, because he was like this bipolar alcoholic dude. When he would finally fall asleep, I would like go up on the 8th floor of his apartment building, and I would look over the edge, and I'd climb over the little railing, and I would just like beg myself to have the balls to jump, you know, but I would always picture my family picking me up off the cement and I wouldn't have a face left. And I just couldn't do it, and I didn't have the courage. So then, of course, I felt more sorry for myself and like continued to dump more drugs into my system.
All I saw was like the Jenny from Forrest Gump moment. Like, you know?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
She
What's
does
that
that.
song that's playing during that time?
Freebird by Leonard Skinner.
Of course. Couldn't be anything else.
And,
Oh, yeah, and it's like building up so much in that
God,
moment.
yeah, just
And her heel slips on the thing. It's so good.
Good God. Great scene.
Very great scene.
Great scene. Very visceral.
I remember as a kid being like, why doesn't she just stop? Like,
Yeah.
why doesn't she just stop, you know?
Forrest loves you, Jenny. Go home.
Yeah, go get cancer.
Go back to Greenbow, Alabama.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, I wanted to die, but unfortunately that still wasn't enough. And, you know, I ended up getting away from that spot, and fast forward some time, I ended up catching some charges that landed me a 4-year prison sentence. And
May I ask what charges?
yes, I sold methamphetamine to a police officer 3 times.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the person that saved me from that like bipolar alcoholic guy was a meth cook, and I had a raging opiate habit. So basically I saw my plug, like, okay, let's peddle this shit, and I can, you know, do as much as I want of whatever I want, which was kind of the case. But, you know, it's never enough, right?
No.
So I got really greedy, and I ended up, I knew this like crack hooker girl from that other guy. And she introduced me to this guy as her John, meaning someone she slept with for money.
Yeah.
And I sold to both of them one time. So that was the first charge. Nothing happened. So I figured, okay. He asked for my number. I was like, sure. He had dirt under his fingernails. His eyes were bloodshot. He was dirty. Like, he knew like how to talk enough. Like, and I was tweaked out of my mind. So I didn't really like think to like vet this guy.
Yeah, no.
I just wanted his money. And, yeah, and so I like talked with him on the phone. I remember for like an hour, like all fucked up one night, and then I finally was like, okay, yeah, we'll meet you. But like he like picked the place, and he like wouldn't get in the car, and I was super sketched out. But I didn't want to tell the cook guy because I just didn't want him to get sketched out and like blame me for like setting this hole. It's like we were already down the hole, so like whatever was going to happen was going to happen. And my mentality in addiction is like, I don't care what happens 5 seconds from now, as long as I get pleasure now. And so the third time, so first I sold him 2 times. And then the third time, the second that he walked away with the shit, the fucking helicopters, guns to our heads, like surrounded, like SWAT team on Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach, which is like the main strip there. So yeah, I went away, and I got bonded out after like 3 weeks, and I was out on bond, and everything just got 10 times worse from there because I knew I was going to prison. And I mean, it couldn't get worse, but like it did. It managed to somehow. And like I was living out of this random kid's car. Like, I mean, it was just so ugly, like so ugly. And let's see. When I got sentenced, like I had been a missing person, reported missing person for like a year and a half. My family,
no shit.
They were checking the morgues and the, jails and stuff down south. And
damn.
When I got sentenced, I called my mom, and I was basically like wanting her to bail me out, like fix it, like get me a lawyer, like do something. And she was like, I think that this is kind of like what was going to happen. This is better than death. And like, you may not understand it, but this may actually be a good thing. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry you're in pain, but like, what do you think's going to happen? Basically, in a very loving and gentle way. And God bless her. And so let's see. I remember bawling my eyes out and being like, in my mind, like thinking like, they don't know who I am. Like, I used to play field hockey. Like, I'm this little, like, my family, like, they're good people.
We were at the 4-H fair together, Mom.
They don't give a shit. You know what I mean? God. You broke the law. You're going down. That's it. It's a system. And I got caught in it. And so anyways, I was out. I got sentenced, and I convinced this judge to give me 25 days to get my affairs in order, to like put my quote unquote things into storage, and to like go visit my dying grandmother, which I didn't have. And even if I did, I wouldn't have given a shit. And all this stuff. And I don't know why, maybe because I played field hockey, but he gave me those 25 days. And the first thing I did was go kick in some doors of some drug dealers I knew that weren't home and go steal whatever I could, because I figured, I'm going away in 25 days. I won't need them after a while. And so and then this is something important too, is I wrote this calendar on a piece of loose leaf paper of all the things I was going to do in 25 days before I had to go away for 4 years. Like get my nails done, go tanning, go walk on the beach, go like make amends, get some money together so I would have some money on my books when I got there. Like all these things, like take a shower.
So technically you were getting your affairs in order.
Yeah, sure. Well,
technically.
Yeah, you would think that that's what would happen, but I did not do one single thing on the list. Like not one single thing.
Oh, man.
I just kept scraping my skin on the bottom of the sidewalk. You know what I mean? And it was just horrible. And so my parents came down to visit me. They hadn't seen me in so long, and they got me a hotel room to my last 2 weeks to live with a shelter over my head. And then I was going to turn myself in. Good luck to you. We'll see you on the other side. Mm-hmm. And man, that time came for me to turn myself in, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah. And
so I ran, and not for long, and I didn't go far because my dope man couldn't go too far from him.
Yeah.
So, it just got really bad. And I remember the day they finally caught up with me. I remember that morning, like, I just couldn't get high. Like, I just could not. Like, I mean, I had done hundreds of dollars worth of shit, and my pupils were pinned, but, like, there was no relief from self anymore. It just literally wasn't working. So I went away to prison. They did catch up with me. I went away to prison, and I used most of the time in there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I always had money sent to me. I always had, I'm good at art, so I would make cards for people and just shit like that. And it's actually pretty easy to find whatever you want in there. And I got this opportunity. I finally got my custody lowered from like maximum to low, and for like good behavior and stuff. Mm-hmm. When I first got there, I was a terror. I had to prove myself, a little white girl. Like I had to it was crazy, but that's a whole other story.
You were in maximum security?
Yeah, well, with any like 3-time felonies, they start you there. And normally most people are only there for like 2 or 3 months, but I was a pretty white girl with sass and a mouth on her, and thought I was somebody, and I would fuck with the lifers and all these people and fucking get in fights and just get in trouble all the time and just draw attention to myself. So you just get DRs and write-ups for dumb stuff, and they keep your custody high. So wow. I was there for like 2.5 years in max security, like with death row and everything. Not with them, but on the same compound. Anyway, so what happened? So I got an opportunity to go to work release, which is basically like you're still custody of Department of Corrections, but you get to live in a center, more like a halfway house type of setup, and you get to have a job and real clothes and a phone and all that, and like you have to be home at a certain time, you have to turn in your money, and like there's all kinds of crazy rules, but it was way better than prison, let me tell you, like way better. And I had been clean for like 10 months before that, because before you get to go to that, you have to go to this really small, like secluded compound where there's no drugs, basically. So I had like 10 months clean, and I started working this job at a restaurant, and I had been working there for maybe a month, and I drank a glass of wine. And the girl that I drank with, like that same night, like after like the hour after the buzz that kind of wore off, I was like, we need to get Steve to go get us some alcohol. And she was like, what? Like, we have to go back to the center tonight. Like, we still have to.
Oh, and, so this is a girl you were in with. Okay.
Yeah. And she was with me. We worked the same job. And but like that just shows you like the difference. Like right away I was like, who cares? Like, who cares about that? Like, we need to feel this more. And so, long story short, long story longer. Within a week, I had a full-blown opiate habit again. And that was the first time in my life that I actually was confused at how I was using against my will. That was the first time I didn't truly choose to go ahead and use again. It was like, it happened to me. That's how it felt. And I couldn't stop, and I got away with it for a while, but I ended up failing a breathalyzer and getting sent back to prison. So I still had 9 months left on my sentence. And I had to go back to prison. And my last day using was in that paddy wagon back to prison with handcuffs on, snorting pills with my prison ID and my property sheet that my friend just pulled the pills she was holding for me out of her, natural God-made pocket.
Nice.
And she was very upset about what was happening, that we were getting sent back and all this stuff. And I was just like, give me my shit. Like, it's in you and get it out. And anyway, so I had to do 45 days in solitary confinement when I got to prison.
Wow.
And I didn't have a pen, a piece of paper. I didn't have a book. I couldn't see out the window. The toilet barely flushed. I only got 3 showers a week for like 60 seconds each, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I didn't have a bra or underwear, just this like dirty, gross dress thing they give you. No deodorant, just like this chalky toothpaste and this like inch-long toothbrush that you have to like make your knuckles bleed to like hit your molars. No sheets, no blankets, because you're at risk of hurting yourself or like whatever with all that stuff. So just like this plastic mat, who knows how dirty it was, and it's just like hard as a rock, and the fluorescent light beaming 24/7, 7 days, even on Sundays, and nothing in that room but me, my crazy ass self, and I. And I had just this tiny glimmer of hope that there was something else out there. Maybe it was because of, the love I was raised with. Maybe it was just because I had always seemed to like get back on my feet somehow through everything I had been through. But I did have this little bit of hope, and I just finally prayed my real first prayer, which wasn't to get me out of this situation, or let so-and-so have the good shit tonight, or let so-and-so, answer the phone, or let this cop pass me by, or let this beeper not go off when I walk out of this store. It was finally a genuine prayer, which was like, I'm willing to do something else, but if you can just show me the way, because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. And I didn't know who I was praying to. I choose to call it God. But the universe, the energy that's making my heart beat, because I damn sure I'm not. Whatever makes a flower grow. I don't subscribe to any like structured idea of God or religion. Personally, it's just my thing. I think trying to understand a higher power is like an ant trying to watch an IMAX film. We will never
Wow.
have the
No.
capacity to grasp
No,
it.
we can't
and
fa-
I don't
we can't
need
fathom
to.
all
right.
that.
Like the closest you'll get to that, I feel, is probably meditation, like a lifelong like dedication to it. And
Yeah.
I'm good being small and stupid. It's fine. So I prayed to this power and I just said, show me the way and I'll walk it. Like I will finally, for once in my fucking life, do something on my part. If you can just please, like, show me the way. And from that moment, it wasn't like some white light, beamed out of my eyeballs and I was
No.
like, ah.
No rainbow shooting out of your
it wasn't
ass.
like that. I was still miserable. I was still shitting my brains out on the steel toilet that wouldn't flush. Like, I was still fucking having to shove down, like, the disgusting food that was fed to me through a slot and listen to the COs call me 156115, I was still seeing bugs on the walls and losing my goddamn mind in that little tiny room. But I got out of there and somehow I did not use drugs for the rest of my 9-month sentence. I sort of made a choice, like, if I can't do it in here, like, I can't do it out there. And, like, I know so far the common denominator in all of this shit is me and drugs, and I can't remove me. So, like, yeah. So when I got out, all my friends that I used to party with in Baltimore were dead, in prison, or clean. And it was crazy. So my parents, my family, they weren't sure if they if they wanted me around. They were scared. They didn't know where my mind was at. They only knew this crazy person.
How long had you been in Florida by that point?
I went to Florida in 2010. I got locked up in 2012 and I got out in 2016. So
you've been...
that's 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got locked up when I was 22 and I got out when I was 26. And, yeah, so it was a long road that they didn't know. They hadn't seen me. And so my friends that were clean were participating in a 12-step fellowship. And basically, I didn't know what else to do. I was just terrified to sell my soul again. I had a little bit of clarity. I had zero recovery, but I had the drugs out of my system enough to like be able to have freedom of choice. I wasn't powerless over my next decision anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it like a year and then I'll just go back to drinking and like smoking blunts and like I'll be normal again. And so I started this journey of recovery. And I fell into it in a way. Like it was just... I went to, recovery meetings and was, I'm pretty intelligent to catch on to like themes and patterns when it's repeated over and over. So I got the idea, the message, which was basically follow these suggestions and these steps and you don't have to understand them. But if you do them, you'll probably get something better than you've ever gotten on your own, like, idea of how things should be. And I really reluctantly followed these things more to please other people around me in a way, to be perfectly honest, because I just I didn't know what else to do. Like it would have been different if like someone was right in my face using all the time, but like somehow people say by the grace of God, so I'll go ahead and use that too. Like by the grace of God, like there was just the right people and the right environments around me where like I was influenced by what I was seeing. So I followed the example, the living example of others around me. I saw them smiling, laughing, having, money to be able to do fun things with. I saw them taking vacations. I saw them working out and like looking good. And the main thing was like, I saw this bright confidence and this spirit and this self-awareness and this willingness to be honest. I saw grown men in these meetings crying, and that was like an accolade. That was like a wow, like
that was me
how
crying.
Powerful. It was probably
It was probably me.
Totally you.
It was
Totally you.
And I was just blown away by the process, but I was still very reluctant. Like I wouldn't admit that really to anyone, but I was kind of excited about it. And there was cute boys at meetings, and I hadn't been out, in the world for a long time.
Yeah.
And so it was exciting. It was young people like not destroying their lives. So I was like, okay, I'll like keep coming back.
Yeah.
And I did. And I ended up finding the most incredible women that just kind of took me under their wing and just shared their life with me without shoving anything down my throat. You know, they just showed me instead of telling me. And I took their suggestions, and I got like a sponsor, a mentor. And she's someone that just as soon as I heard her story, you know, she's like this hippie lady, and she's just kind of really a badass. You know, she's from the streets of Baltimore, old, you know, dope fiend like myself. And, you know, she don't take no shit, and like she gets it. And as soon as I heard her, I just wanted to like know her, and like I just trusted her right off the bat. And she always made me feel comfortable. And we work steps, which is just part of the program I'm in. And basically they just give me an insight as to how I'm wired and why I do the things I do and the patterns. And it's basically like looking into a mirror. You know, if you're so used to looking in the mirror and you have this mask on and you believe that mask is part of you, and then all of a sudden you're still looking in the mirror, but you take the mask off, that mask doesn't have that power it had before. And so that's basically what the work that we do together helps me see. So when I get into those patterns, sure, I can continue to do the pattern, but they don't work anymore. Like, I know it's a mask. I know it's bullshit. And so I'm able to be like, okay, let's stop and like accept reality. And go with the flow. And that network of women has been huge, and men. It's just been so important to me to feel loved, and love for me and not for like what I can do or provide or like whatever. Although I get that very confused sometimes. I mean, I think it's just self-centeredness is the nature of all this. So I'm never enough, you know, in my mind. And, you know, someone's always mad at me and someone always hates me, and I can focus on all the negativity so quick. You know, I'm not the prettiest, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the whatever. And yeah, that's okay, you know, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not.
Fucking right.
And so,
and that's okay too.
Right.
It's okay for it not to be that way sometimes. Like sometimes you have to feel short and shitty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It definitely builds character. Like, you know, today, so I'm working this job. This is like a tangent a little bit. I don't know how good we are on time, but.
Oh, you're doing good.
I work this job, you know, I sell pest control door to door. Okay. And in the process of recovery, mind you, like a little backstory on career thing is I'm a 3-time felon. So when I got out, no one would hire me.
The workforce is not exactly welcoming.
No, not at all.
Not open arms to felons.
So I decided I was going to go back to school to try to make my own wealth and future. And so I got into like skincare, organic skincare, facials, waxing, all that. This internship, if you want to call it that, kind of ended. And I had this opportunity in front of me to sell pest control door to door. And the numbers, the commissions are crazy. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a shot. Excuse me. I'll probably suck, but at least I can say I tried. And everyone in my life was like, don't do that. That's crazy. Like, you just paid $10,000 to go to school. Like, you know, you should definitely pursue that before you jump to the next thing. 'Cause that's kind of my pattern too. I don't like to follow through with things. I'm kind of bad at commitment. And I was like, I don't know, something in me was just like, I'm just going to try it. I don't know. I don't really care. And so I did. And I ended up killing it. Honestly, killing it. Number 3 in the company, and I'm so competitive, and I have so much to prove, and like, you know, I don't know. I just hit the ground running, and I was very successful. And now it's, you know, getting towards the end of the season, and I've hit my original goal by far, but I'm short of my, you know, edited goal. And like today, I had a rough day. Like, I didn't hit the number I wanted to hit, and it just had a lot of wasted time. And like, man, I broke down. Like, I cried, like in between doors. Like, I'm like walking from house to house, like, motherfucker, motherfucker.
Do tears get you more sales or less sales?
I have to get it together before the next door.
Oh.
So I'm not really sure. Probably less.
I don't know. If like a really like weepy salesman came up to my door and was trying to sell me anything, it depends on my mood, but I might just feel bad enough to be like, I'll give you whatever. I'll take whatever subscription you're selling to get the fuck off of my porch. Maybe if it was like
cookies or something, but this is kind of like a little more than that.
Dude, can you imagine a fucking crying Girl Scout on your fucking front porch? I'd be like, I'll take 100 Thin Mints now.
Done.
Oh god.
So what is that? Yeah. So basically, like I have just as much capability of thinking I'm the shit and I'm the best and no one can touch this and blah 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 and I'm the shit. And this is not my saying, but someone else's. I don't know where I got it, but I love it as either I'm the shit or a piece of shit. And that's where I went tonight. Was like, I'm a piece of shit. I suck. It's over. I lost my mojo. Like I'm done. You know. It's over. Like, I'm not going to hit my goals. Like, I'm a loser, pretty much. And something, it's me. When the reality is, people have good days and bad days, and, like, get over yourself, pretty much. Move forward, one foot in front of the other. And I guess being in recovery has taught me that. Taught me to just keep it moving. This too shall pass, the good and the bad. But, yeah, my recovery's been insane. Like, I've been through a lot. Like, I've been through a lot of periods of not really participating in the fellowship that I participate in because of school and this job now, and waves of, like, being super involved. I have 5 women that call me their sponsor. Not all of them use me, but quite a few of them do. And it's just so crazy that someone is asking me, like, how to cope, because I never knew how to cope with feelings. And it's mind blowing. It really is. It really is. I've put myself through school and now I'm like going to be doing big things soon. Like moving and creating dreams and like, it's so wild. But I guess the biggest thing, that I try to convey to my sponsees and stuff and just women that I talk to is that, you can get clean and take the drugs out of your system, but you're still left with that original pain that you were using about in the first place. So that's what we're trying to fix. That's what we're trying to heal, I should say. That's what we're trying to, grow from. And it becomes not about the drugs and alcohol. That just happened to be my like tick that I couldn't get past, but it could have been anything. And there's plenty of people in the world that have their tick, but it doesn't give them those crazy fucked up consequences that drugs and alcohol do. Or I should just say drugs, because alcohol is just a wet drug. It's a slower path to pain, so they don't ever really get the chance to look at that ugly ass fucking mirror and fix it and heal it, So we have this awesome opportunity. It's like a shortcut to being like, dude, something's gotta give here. What's it gonna be? What are you willing to do? And my recovery is very fluid. It's not just about the program that I participate in. It's so much about the earth and people and just my human connection. And, I'm really good at being a piece of shit, and I know how to do it, and I'll definitely never forget how to do it. I was a professional at it. But I believe like the point of life is, you spread energy, right? So you can either spread this goodness of love and inspiration and music and charm and art and beauty, or you can suck anything good out of anything good and be this leech, in this tunnel to darkness. And for me, because I'm such an obsessive one way or the other person, it really is that it just has to be one way or the other. When I start to give into any kind of lying or anything, it eats away and it feeds, it spreads into every area of my life. And so the number one thing, it's like that human connection, and in that human connection is honesty. Like, how you doing? Oh, I'm great. No, actually, I'm not.
Yes.
I'm actually like having a really shitty day.
I know.
And that's okay. It's like as soon as you say it, it's not that bad. So
every time I say that, and I know it's not true, I feel like I'm wearing like a fucking paper plate fucking mask that I made in 3rd grade. It's like, dude, that's not hiding your face. It's like not even. Right. It's not even a good disguise.
Oh man, in college, there's this kid. He was like this. You know who Banksy is?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, everybody knows who fucking Banksy is.
I mean, he was like the most super amateur version of that, but like was just very clever. And one of my favorite stencils of his was it was a businessman holding a briefcase, and he was like half bent over, and he had like the knob on the back of his back, like he was like one of those
like a wind-up toy.
Wind-up toy. Yeah, exactly. And that's how I feel when I'm like being like phony and fake, which is literally my job. Hey, real quick, we're just doing a follow-up visit. It's like
just one of those wind-up fucking monkeys with a fucking pair of cymbals.
Exactly. It's like, what is the point of lying? Like, why am I so worried about your thoughts or feelings about me?
It can be powerful, though.
Why am I so concerned with a temporary passing of like my name or my image through you? It has nothing to do with me. But we so try to control it. It's like what social media is about. I mean, we it's consuming. It really is. So I'm not sure what else. I mean, I could talk more about my life today, or we could end it now.
No, we can end it now. Oh, no, we're not done with you yet.
You're not?
No.
We have questions.
Now we turn it over to Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. Sorry, I have like something in my throat. I'm like ruining this whole thing.
Can I have some of your water,
please do.
though?
It's tap water.
I'm dying. Oh, fantastic. Baltimore tap water.
Let's see.
It's good stuff.
Let's start you off with something easier, I guess.
Can I start with a light question?
Yeah, start with a light question.
Okay, light question. Okay, so we spoke about Girl Scout cookies. What is your go-to Girl Scout cookie?
Samoa. I think that's how you pronounce it,
up
right?
top, yes, Samoa's. Fucking coconut, caramel, circular, fucking deliciousness.
They're kind of hard to chew, too.
Yes.
Like they take a while. You can't just like scarf down the whole box. It's almost like overwhelming.
The crunch and the chew with the little chocolate drizzle.
If something on a menu at any restaurant or place or anything says crispy, done. I'm ordering it.
Yeah.
Anything
really?
crispy.
What about you, Eric?
If it has any crispy edges, it just turns me on. It just I'm there.
Go-to Girl Scout cookie.
What do you think the answer is?
Peanut butter.
I think you might be like a Thin Mint guy, but you could be like a tag-along guy.
I don't I don't know what that is.
I think the tag-alongs were the peanut butter ones, weren't they?
I'm not sure. I'm not up on the lingo. My mom wasn't down with the whole
pretty sure
Girl Scout conspiracy.
Well, we're not even going to get into girl. Wait, what?
No, we are.
I feel like it is kind of messed up how they're like, Girl Scouts get to go peddle cookies from door to door, and the Boy Scouts get to like go camping and jump off rocks and learn how to tie knots and like build fire and set up a tent and put it down.
The tag-alongs, the little chocolate
You're still
ones.
on that. We're talking about feminism now.
But okay, so like, have you ever seen those little? I shouldn't be so rude about children, but those little fuckers who stand on like the side of not the squeegee kids, because that's a whole nother issue.
Whole other level.
That's a whole nother issue.
Vehicular abuse.
There's like they like send their kids out to like, it's like, we're like traveling baseball team and we need your money. Or like,
well, I'm not saying the Boy Scouts don't do like fundraiser stuff, but at the same time, what do the girls get to do?
They do other stuff. That's just what they're known for.
Yeah, it's just what they're known for.
You know what I mean?
My mom wasn't down with it.
I was never a Girl Scout.
I feel like Boy Scouts are known for like Pinewood Derby.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
What is it?
The Pinewood Derby? You don't know what that is?
So they build cars.
Those things.
The little race cars. And we raced them.
That's
cool. Lost.
That gives you skill. Like, I lost selling is still skill, clearly. If I would have been a Girl Scout.
Huh?
Did you do that?
I made a Pinewood Derby car.
Did you win?
I don't think so, no.
I lost badly.
Maybe if I was a Girl Scout, I'd be an even better door-to-door salesman, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it, I regret everything now.
But, I mean, didn't you do Joe Corby's when you were,
go
like...
back to the beginning.
I did.
Kid, right?
But I didn't have to do it. My mom would, like tell her work.
But it's the same thing. It's just a fundraiser, so parents don't have to pay for the actual thing they're doing.
I'm just saying.
I think you're deflecting, Eric. What's your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
Well, I don't eat cookies that have milk
when you used to eat cookies.
Do they have red velvet? Like Girl Scout cookies?
I'm pretty sure
I don't
they
think so.
Do they have pumpkin Girl Scout cookies?
No.
Is there snickerdoodle?
Snickerdoodle? I think,
No.
Yes, they do.
They have shortbread.
Let's
yes,
go
they
with
do.
that.
They do have
Snickerdoodles.
Snickerdoodles.
Do
I
they
don't
have
know.
that?
Do they have? I don't know. What was the first one you said before the pumpkin?
Red velvet cookie.
Red velvet.
I doubt they have a red velvet cookie.
Yeah, that's kind of hip. That's like a newer thing to do.
Is that hip?
Like to put
No,
red velvet in
that's not
things
a
that
thing.
aren't just red velvet cake, like red velvet smoothie, or like maybe
That
not
sounds-
smoothie.
That sounds good.
No,
maybe,
it sounds good,
you
but
know?
I'm saying like I haven't actually seen that, but I'm just saying I
had
feel like
red
they have
velvet
red
funnel
velvet
cake.
everything.
Funnel
See,
cake.
see, that's a new thing.
So good, though.
That was not around in the 90s. That was not around with Orangina type days.
Orangina is still around.
Orangina is still around, but it's just not like.
Was it around more? I feel like
It's
Tang
more
was
hip now.
around when, like, in the 90s. I feel like that was the orange drink.
Orangina is cool.
Let's get to that. We've digressed way too far.
sorry.
I'm sorry. The
Yeah.
goddamn Girl Scouts.
So, okay. So I don't know how to word this question, so we'll see how it works out.
Okay.
So in the beginning of your share, you mentioned kind of wanting to have what other people had. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you're saying like if, you know, a girl was getting a Tiffany necklace for her bat mitzvah, like you wanted that Tiffany necklace.
Yeah.
Or if like...
What did you want at the bat mitzvah?
I wanted
both,
to be someone
right?
else.
So you want,
Yeah.
but was that more of a you wanted to be someone else, or did you want to follow and join into the pack and be like everyone else? Not be everyone else, but be like everyone else.
Both. I wanted to be liked and accepted. Like I wanted to be like, because I felt like everyone always had these like they had known each other forever, and like I had my friends.
Wait, at 10?
Yeah, like they had like grown up in Hebrew school and like all this stuff, or like or in lacrosse forever. Like you know, I was friends with all kinds of secular or different, like you know. So there's like, the Jewish kids. There's the the like waspy kids. You know what I mean? And they were all friends with each other. But I just felt like I don't know. My elementary school was just sort of a smaller like I don't know. I just didn't really have like my friend like I just didn't have that. Like I didn't have what everyone else had. My parents were very European. Our curtains didn't match our carpet. Like I didn't go to Disney World. I didn't have cable. You know what I mean? My parents would like go climb trees and like go have fun. Like
what fucking words did you just say? Did you just say you didn't go to Disney World?
Yes.
Have you ever been to Disney
Never
World?
been, and I don't care to go.
Wait, whoa.
Hey, let's pump the brakes.
What are you? Whoa.
I'd much rather spend the money to go somewhere like weird and different and like not
Disney World.
Like Disney World. It's the most magical place on earth.
And it's very different. It's not like anywhere else. Different. The only comparison I can think of is like Vegas, but that's like an adult version of Disney.
My heart is kind of broken right now.
I don't want that either. I'd rather be on like some mountain.
Vegas is great.
Vegas sucks.
I did not like Vegas because I was
Vegas
sober.
Sucks.
I was sober like the first time I went to Vegas.
I went to like a show or something, but like it was just...
Oh wait, no, I got high in Vegas. I did get high in Vegas.
You should rethink Disney World. It's a
I'm not saying I
place.
wouldn't go one day, but it would never be what I want to spend my money on now.
I'm like hyperventilating about this.
I love Disney movies. I really do. I just...
And go to fucking Disney World.
Yeah.
Next question.
It's just like overpriced commercial bullshit, though.
Whoa.
That's everything. That's life.
True, but I just want to go in some mountain and like get dirty.
Like,
and,
Magic Mountain?
Like Space Mountain? What about Splash
Thunder
Mountain? Thunder Mountain? Which mountain?
Sounds like a porno.
Thunder Mountain does sound like a porno, actually. Or Splash Mountain.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Splash
any of those.
Mountain. That's a Bukkake video.
Flash Mountain?
That's a Bukkake video.
Flash Mountains.
Okay. Flash Mountain.
So, two more questions.
She has double G tits. Flash Mountains.
So, what addiction has manifested itself the most since you've entered recovery?
That is a very good question. Ooh.
Everybody gets this question.
Man, that is a good one.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Is there too many?
It's changed. Yeah, it's changed.
So what are some of them?
So I smoke cigarettes, and I'm not a heavy smoker, but I did quit at one point for like 8 months, and I found my way back into it. And, you know, it's kind of like this thing you tell yourself, like, well, I'm not doing drugs, so it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
And I sell my ass off, so it's like the one thing I have to look forward to at the end of the day, but that's not where I want to be forever. I want there to be something bigger, and not the desires of the flesh, you know? Like, I want it to be like, I'm truly spiritually centered, and like the end of the day, just the day is the reward, you know? Like, I don't need some, like, I don't know. I've gone crazy with Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
I still indulge.
You and Matt and your fucking Taco Bell.
It's the nacho supreme with extra sour cream. It's so
Is
good.
it?
No, it doesn't have to be just Taco Bell.
Wait, the Crunch Wrap
It could just
Supreme?
be Mexican, like nachos. Period.
Oh yeah.
It could just be nachos.
I had some nachos
Taco
tonight.
Bell's just
They were
very convenient,
fantastic.
and they're consistent, and they're open a lot.
Yeah.
So, and they're cheap. So, and you don't have to tip. So, let's see. Definitely like validation and attention. Like, you know, social media, like my phone is something that really, like, I'll just like mindlessly scroll through it, and I hate it, and it like makes me late to things. And
What,
like
through like IG?
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all of it. And it's so dumb because I used to read, like, I mean, I still read, but like,
Please like our Facebook page, by the way.
Oh, I will. I'll get on that. After scrolling for a long time. No, but like the thing is, I genuinely don't like
marketing.
it. Like I really genuinely don't like it. I'm not like getting fulfilled from it whatsoever.
I know.
I went there for the memes, and I stayed for when you're looking at stuff like that, it takes you away from self. It's just another escape. So I can look 100%. At other people, and when I'm done, I always feel worse about myself than when I began. Yeah. Because there's nothing but comparison or judgment. So I'm either comparing, saying, oh, he or she is better than me. He or she has more money. They're prettier. They're smarter. They're more successful. They're further along at their age or whatever. Or I'm like, ew, look at her. Blah, 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 you know? And either way, it brings out the worst in me. Mm-hmm. And so what's the solution to that? I don't know, because I genuinely like it to keep track of my own pictures, but I don't know. That's definitely a tough one. My biggest problem is probably like being on time to things. Like I'm so ADD. Even when I'm about to be on time, I'll be like, it's like uncomfortable for me to be on time sometimes. Mm-hmm. Addicted.
Well, so okay. So you were saying
like
that. You know, you're using this to get outside of yourself, but like sometimes, don't you want to get outside of yourself?
Absolutely.
Right?
And that's
like,
okay.
Isn't that okay to like watch a movie and like get outside of yourself?
Here's the difference. When you get outside of yourself and you're done, like whether it's working out, whether it's sharing your experience, strength, and hope, or, you know, helping someone else, or like playing with my nieces, or like, you know, just anything healthy, watching a movie, totally. At the end of it, I'm like, wow, that was incredible, or that was awesome, or I'm really proud of myself for doing that because it sucked during it. Like, I hate running, but like, damn, I feel like $1 million now. Or, wow, I really didn't feel like talking about that sponsee for an hour and a half, you know, and not getting through to her at all. But you know what? I did something awesome. You know, so that's the difference. Is like when you get outside of yourself and it's like a suck, and it's like a blanket over yourself, like a numbing, and like a let's not have feelings type of thing. It's not growth. It's just plateau. It's just waste of time.
Yeah, it's just time spent.
Yeah, waste of time. And like, you know, I'm not here to like shit on social media. It's just basically I use it to like in the car when it's raining and I'm like waiting for the rain to slow down before hitting the next door or something. Like I could totally go hit that door in the rain, but I'll be like, let me just check and see what's going on. And, you know what I mean? It's just it's a really easy thing to just not exist for a minute.
It's a weapon of mass distraction.
Very good.
Yeah, that was nice. she brought up a very good question from me. This is rare. I don't have a lot of questions. Okay. I have shitty Girl Scout cookie questions.
That's an important question.
I thought it was, and you dodged it. And
I don't really eat cookies.
So, to the real question. So, a theme that sort of popped up numerous times throughout your share was you comparing yourself to other people, not feeling a part of, not feeling this from other people. Now, when you came into recovery, how did you compare in? How did you do the exact opposite? Yeah, but how did you do the exact opposite? Like, what brought you in? What compared you in to these addicts and this new way of life?
I'll start saying I did the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw everyone already knew each other. Girls hated me. Guys were going to hit on me. I was not I didn't feel like a valuable person. So I assumed that girls would just hate me because girls hate each other. And that, again, I wasn't in the clique. I wasn't in the original, original cast member, crew. And that the
hashtag Wolfpack.
Right.
Whatever.
And that the men were only ever going to see me for sex because that is what I chose for them to see me as for so long. And so I felt very alone. I felt very not okay. Like I really almost left. But that was just because of where I was going to meetings at that time, or the few I had gone to in that specific area. I just didn't mesh with those people. And now I can look back and be like, yeah, maybe they weren't as welcoming as like I would like to be. So now what I do is I make sure that every young, pretty girl that walks in that door, I am genuinely warm to her. And I don't just say, oh my God, hi, like, bye. And like, hey, what's up? How are you? Like, here's my number. Actually call me. I'll pick you up. Like, let's go out to eat. Let's go out to coffee. Like, let's hang out, And because I can't change the people that are still, in recovery today, doing that to young, pretty newcomer girls. And I just don't want anyone to feel like I felt, which was like that. And so that's important. But so I did feel that same feeling because it's triggered by things outside myself, but it's always me. I mean, it starts and ends with me, right? But as far as combating that, I still face it. Like even in our core group of friends, when I was, selling like nonstop, like not even hanging out on Friday, Saturday night, like just selling, and Sundays, like just like sleeping, basically. When I was like obsessed with it, I convinced myself that everyone hated me, that they were replacing me with this girl they were hanging out. Like, I had all these ideas. Yeah, and it was, like, funny to laugh about and, like, share with
There's
my friends.
There's a new girl, Schmemily.
Yeah. Like, I was
She's
like,
better than me.
Like, I was only because I was Matt's girlfriend. Like, was I, this? Like, I can convince myself of all the negative at any point, pretty much. But again, opening up, sharing about it, getting honest, laughing about it, it was like, oh, that was retarded. I'm an addict. So that's now I understand that I'm not unique in those feelings. I've heard a million people share stuff like that, and people share stuff like that to me, saying like, oh my God, I thought you hated me. And I'm like, what? Like, I love you. What do you mean? I'm sorry I didn't answer your text 2 days ago. Like, like the simplest stuff. So I know that now that I'm not alone in those crazy things, and just the solution is basically to open my mouth about it. Or to just get outside myself and stop being so obsessed with myself, because it's not all about me, right? Like, go read something, go watch the news for a second and see all the people suffering around the world. Like, get over it. Like, seriously. So that's basically, I mean, how do I compare in is, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm an addict. So whether I fit in with like my friends in recovery is one thing, but like, as far as in recovery, like, I got a story, you know? So it's pretty easy to say, hey, I belong here.
Hell yeah.
And because I have some shock value in my story, that's also kind of nice. Sometimes I wear it as a badge of honor. Like, when I go into like H&I, like where, people can't get out to meetings, like in hospitals and institutions and jails and stuff. When I tell my story in there, sometimes I'm like, people are just sassy. They're a little hard. They're not like sitting there like with their hands crossed, like ready to listen and like, okay, ma'am, we'd love to hear your story now. They're like all crazy and rambunctious and stuff. And I'm like, let me tell you, you know what I mean? And so that sort of helps me a little bit, get over the social uncomfortability. There's something else I was going to say. Oh, and the other thing too, though, is like, I can still compare myself in the other way. Like I have this, I'll hear some badass biker chick story about how she like stabbed all these people or like whatever. And I'm like, damn, I only like put 21 staples in this guy's head once, like, damn, like maybe I didn't have enough, maybe I'm not truly an addict. Maybe I was just young and crazy. Like, let me just maybe try again.
Let me go stab this guy.
Those thoughts come too.
Yeah, definitely.
I only caught charges for drugs, maybe I should get some assault or battery or like attempted. I don't know. Let me stop.
Let's start. Let's start swinging for the fences here.
Yeah, earn some real badges in this environment.
The drug use merit badge. Back to the Girl Scouts.
Yeah,
that was a great soundbite. Herb said that.
What did he say?
Drug use. No, I said it. I said it to Herb.
Did you?
Yeah, because he said he was like a Boy Scout and everything. I was like, too bad there's no drug use merit badge.
Nice.
But you aren't a Girl Scout, so you wouldn't get it.
No, I wouldn't. Door-to-door salesman, hustling bug spray.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so...
by the way,
final question.
Do you have a single family home?
What?
Never mind.
So what?
Do you have a single family home?
I do not. Eric does.
Well, yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
I'll give you a low quote. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
The last question.
Okay.
So... Since you brought up Florida, let's talk about Florida a little bit.
Let's.
Yeah.
So do you feel like the Florida treatment system perpetuated your cycle of addiction?
Treatment system? No.
Whoa.
No?
I think that recovery is anywhere when the addict has had enough.
Well, yeah, but you understand the system and like the flaws within the Florida system.
But all the tools were there for me. I had a counselor that really cared about me. I had awesome groups. Like there was awesome activities. There were people that got clean and stayed clean that are still clean to this day that have 8 years clean that I still keep in touch with on social media.
Yeah.
They're doing awesome because they had enough and they had enough. And they listened and they took the help. So the help is always there. It's just such a concentrated and lots of transplants. So people aren't around their families. They don't have anyone to be accountable to. They just have some house manager saying, yeah, he's clean. Just send me the $300 a week or whatever. And then they're getting high with that house manager. So of course there's flaws in like,
the system,
but there's the same thing here in Baltimore, like same exact things go on. But it's just so, I think, worse there because so many people are sent there because it's like, oh yeah, you'll get clean in Florida because it's beautiful
getaway.
And it's a new start for you, and it's so concentrated and cheap. And there's young people in recovery there, but there's badass biker meetings there. There's like badass young people's meetings. Like, people are doing the damn thing down there for sure. Yeah. Like there is tons of recovery there, just like Baltimore. It's so concentrated, but again, so much relapse. Yeah. Same thing with Baltimore. Recovery and relapse, they go hand in hand. It's a tricky, slippery slope. But I just happen to be not ready.
Yeah.
I was pushed into it in the first place, into treatment in the first place. Like I was not ready to stop using, but I had nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. And like, I did need a break. Like my body needed a break. Like, I don't know when the last time I had shit was, you know what I mean? I don't think I had my period for like, I don't know, 2 years or something. And then I went and did it all over again. But like, you don't poop.
No,
so
no, you don't.
My body needed to poop and like just eat a little bit and stuff. And but as soon as you start to feel better and look better, it's like that's when the shit works the best. That's when you get the
metaphorically.
Highest. Oh shit! Yes, so shit. Right, exactly.
Sorry.
The shit literally.
Yeah, that's when the shit works a little better. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's all the person's journey. And so like I have a lot of people in my life that know that aren't addicts or aren't exposed to recovery, and they have loved ones that are addicts and they're still using, and they come to me saying, what do I do? And I'm like, well, you can absolutely like sponsor them, a trip to detox or bring them to a environment of recovery, whether that's a meeting, whether that's, meditation or like yoga or like hiking or like some wilderness. Like, who knows what that outlet is for the individual. For me, it just, was the program that I'm in, but, and all those other things as well. But, you can absolutely plant that seed, but beyond that, it's just like, giving birth to a child, once you give life, you give life. You have zero control over their personality, who their friends will be, what clothes they like, what music they like. You cannot guide the person. Yeah. And so all you can do is plant the seed, and you can put them in that environment to hopefully hear something or to hopefully make the decision one day at a time. But, it's totally up to the person. So, you hear crazy stories of like people getting clean and places where they were locked in a room and they had nothing. And that was my story. I had to have nothing, spiritually completely dead. But other people, it's like, they get kicked out of their house and they were just popping some pills and like they decided, hey, I don't want my life to go in this direction anymore. And I'm going to identify as an addict and I'm going to do the things that addicts do to stay clean. So it's all relative. The beaches and the beauty down there was not enough. I sought out the hell.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite little tidbits is like our own personal bottom is when we stop digging. Mm-hmm. I've always loved that one. And a thought just occurred to me like while you brought up that question. So obviously we're in Baltimore. We have a very, honestly, nationally famous drug problem. And so do other cities, New York, Boston, Chicago, blah, 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 everyone out there. How much do you think, like, a recovery network, like, per capita is in the inverse of the drug problem? So, like, what I'm saying is, in a place like Baltimore, is there, because we also have a shit ton of recovery here.
There's a lot of meetings.
Now I'm saying, okay, take that same idea, put it in Wyoming. They
Doesn't Wyoming have like more goats than people though?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's like one of those states out there.
I'm sorry, Wyoming. I'm using you literally as a scapegoat.
Oh wait, I think Wyoming is like really beautiful.
Yeah, I know it's a beautiful place, but I'm saying here.
The goats told me.
They're meeting. Let me goats tell me. So
I am the goat.
The greatest.
God damn you. God damn both of you. So
took me a long time to
in places like Wyoming where they don't have as strong recovery
there are less
networks.
Meetings where there's
exactly. Is there less meetings where there's less drugs and more meetings where there's more drugs?
100%.
There's like different fellowships though for different cities.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, Baltimore obviously
they have, like,
is
Goat
more
Fucking Anonymous and stuff like that.
Goat Fuckers Anonymous is a big one.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But like,
David, don't act like you don't know about that.
I went to one meeting.
Yeah. So, it's different. It's different everywhere.
Okay, so
right?
where there's more drugs, there's more meetings.
Like, I know when I was in Seattle, there was like a lot more drug related meetings that I saw than like when I was in Chicago, it was more the other, sobriety based meetings.
Oh, I see.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Well, like I spent some time down in North Carolina and down there, and it's near like Wilmington.
They
and like,
meetings.
I know, but not nearly as
Not
many.
nearly as much,
but I'm sure they have.
There's
I
less
guess it's
people
more
though,
secluded.
and we're also in a city.
But they do have a fuck ton of drugs down there.
Guess what else? There's not a lot of old drug addicts active.
No.
You see what I mean? You die or you go to prison.
Yeah.
Pretty much. You
only survive if you play jazz.
If you're a drug addict like me, you're not making it long.
You see some old time. You see them sometimes.
I'm surprised you like totally whiffed on that comment.
But they also just look really super old because they're not taking care of themselves.
That's true.
I said the only old ones that survive are the ones that play jazz. It's true.
That's very true.
It's very true. You have 60-year-old jazz bass players still banging dope.
I feel like, heroin addicts don't really age much in the face because they don't make a lot of facial expressions. They're just one face.
Theory?
Oh, wow.
Like that theory.
That's actually a great theory.
And have you ever gotten sick on opiates? No, because there's nothing happening.
No, you're killing every bacteria that's coming in there. Yeah, you don't get sick. Dude, that was my favorite.
Just a theory, but
my theory.
I'm not trying to advocate on here, but I'm just saying.
If ever I was like getting like I felt like a cold or something coming on, I would get super fucking drunk, and I would like
flush it out.
Yeah,
you would just
flush
get
it out.
diarrhea.
Get my blood super fucking alcohol toxic, and it would just bang out any virus, any fucking bacteria, and then I would just all shit my brains out the next morning.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
It was not.
I think there was something else that we just kind of breezed over and that was important that just came up and I can't think of it now.
Well, good, because we're coming to the point in the time where I say, we're about out of time.
We're about out of time.
Do you have any last words?
Say a little bit.
This
so
is your last
when we
words.
began this, aside from the lie that I was okay, like, I genuinely cried tonight, this evening, because of my day, right?
Yeah.
And right now, I just want to say that I do feel absolutely like on fire, inspired, and good.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you for asking me to be on here.
Dude, you had a great share. We really appreciate it. And,
great share.
Yeah. We love all our listeners and we love all our speakers and we deeply appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're out of time. We'd like to thank our guest, Emily P., for a fantastic share tonight.
Thank you so
Mini
much.
clap.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, here at Podcast Recovery, we are aiming to expand the scope of support for recovering addicts. Accessibility and convenience of helpful services is paramount to combating addiction. We work to bring the message of recovery to every addict, wherever and whenever it is needed. We believe that a powerful voice of recovery should be obtainable, practical, and at the touch of a button. Every addict deserves to hear a message of hope, and Podcast Recovery is here to provide it. All right. Well, everybody, follow us on Twitter. Go to our Facebook page. Go to our Facebook group. Listen, subscribe, rate, invite your friends. Go to our website, podcastrecovery.com. Listen in. We have many more episodes to come every week. All right. Well, anything else? Anybody?
No.
Love you guys. Great stuff tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody out there, stay safe, stay clean. Have a good night.